This is your first day. Your designation will be RP-01/138. We expect great things from you. You have been born into dangerous times. A sharp mind can be the key to survival. But as often as not, it will be your inherent physical traits that win the day. And in this regard, you will be superior to your more common brethren. For you are a commando, an elite unit, something truly special. Your weapons, your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
All right, then. Listen up.
Delta Squad, form up.
Forming up, boss.
What up, my fellow Republic Commandos? It is your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. We are live once again from the Batcave in the galaxy far, far away for our Delta Squad streams. As always, I have to bring in the best co-host, my first mate, Super Bro Corey.
Forming up, boss.
Forming up, boss.
How we doing, big fella?
Man. Hey, how's it going?
Doing good, man. Just ruling the Empire.
Ruling the Empire?
Yep, ruling the Empire.
That's not what Delta Squad does.
Oh,
we're the ones who keep the galaxy in order.
Maybe another.
Are you
cover
admitting
Sith?
you're finally a Sith, Corey?
Interesting.
Oh man! So how was your week?
It was good, man.
I heard you were watching a ton of Werewolf by Night, obviously.
Well, I watched Werewolf by Night last night, and then jumped on El Necron's stream of it last night. It was good to see you there for a little bit. It was a good night, you know. It was
dude.
It was surprising. It was really good, actually.
I will agree. You know, if you guys haven't checked out El Necron's show, he's been on our show before, and he did a really cool stream about the new Werewolf by Night, and I was pleasantly surprised of how good it was. You know, anytime it's Marvel, and I'm a DC guy, people do know that, but like, you were expecting something funny and hilarious, and instead you got this like violent, you know, almost didn't seem anything like the MCU And I was all for it. It was great.
I gave it a 9.6, and you gave it a 9.1. So
yeah. After we had our discussion, I was like, yeah, you know what? It was an 8.6, but I'm gonna give it a 9.1 now. But it was really good.
I think one of my reasons for the high portion of that score is just Michael Giacchino, man. Like composer and the director, great job. First one out of the gate, and you're fucking rocking it, dude.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Well, without further ado, guys, I think you already know. Unfortunately, Savage Bat could not join us today for a Delta Squad stream. He had something come up, but he'll be on again another time. But we have, the faithful, the loyal, the crazy man known as Orc and Beans.
Orc and Beans!
What's up, Orc and Beans?
Hello. How are you guys?
Good, man. How you been?
I've been good. I've been watching The Bear on Hulu, and I was like, why does that one cousin look so familiar? And it's because it's the guy that plays Skeen in Andor.
Wow.
He's one of the main characters in The Bear. I was watching it like the first couple episodes the other day. I was like, that guy looks so familiar. And then when I watched the episode of Andor today, I was like, oh, it's him.
Wow. Huh. A small world apparently. Well, that's cool. I didn't realize he was doing that. Excited. And it's
looking at his IMDb, and he's got a lot of credits. He's been doing a lot of stuff.
We'll take it. Out of curiosity, I heard you got a new dog. What kind of dog is it?
He's a black lab mix. His name's Harvey. I think he's outside right now, but he's adorable. We got him on Tuesday.
Nice. And it's going well with the current dog. I think you said
it's going well. They're getting used to each other, and we're slowly introducing him with the cats. But he starts puppy training tomorrow. So
nice. Well, hopefully that goes well for him, and it's always exciting to get a new member of the family. Yeah. Speaking of a new member of the family, I don't believe he's been on a Delta Squad stream before, but he has been on some Bat Channel streams. One of our favorite guests, man. You know how I feel about this guy, Mr. Lord Koj in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hey, I got it. Hello there. Thank you, guys.
What's up, brother?
Good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, dude. No, sorry it was so last minute, but when I knew Savage can make it, I was like, man, we gotta have some new blood. Then we gotta have someone else up in here. Koj, I know you've been in the chat with Andor. What's your general thoughts so far from episodes 1 through 4? Obviously, we're talking about episode 5 today.
Put you on the spot. 1 through 4. Let's go.
No, I love this show. I'm sold. I'm in. Episode 3 hooked me in all the way, and I'm like, I can't wait to see where this goes. Well, we know where it goes, but how we get there is exciting.
Yeah. So like many of us, we kind of thought episodes 1 and 2 were very slow, and like episode 3 like really got us locked in as well. What do you think what's exactly the it factor of this show that's like pulling you in and drawing you to keep returning for each week?
I think the tone and also the music. The music is beautiful, very subtle, very strong when it needs to be, but I like the maturity and the tone, and this is very much like a spy story, all that. Right now it's still like a paper type of film, where they're planning the heist or something like that, and I'm kind of a fan of that stuff too, like the original Italian Job, the old school Ocean's 11, kind of getting a little bit of that vibe mixed in with this James Bond thing, and I'm enjoying it, and I don't mind the slowness if it has merit. I feel like Things of Power has too much unnecessary slowness. I feel Andor is doing the slowness a little bit more right.
Interesting. 'Cause we'll come back to that comment because it's interesting that you brought up Rings of Power because Sarah and I have also been watching that, and I think we're enjoying it differently for other reasons for the shows, but we're still like really loving Rings of Power. And I get some of my Lord of the Rings fans out there are probably like, Trey, that's sacrilegious, but I started
When
reading...
we top on that, I have a good insight about that.
Oh yeah. I think we're going to try to do a fellowship stream sometime, maybe as like a season review, because I think next episode's the last episode. So Corey, have you been able to watch it?
2 more coming.
I guess I can start watching it now.
You need to. It's actually it's actually pretty good. But I was shocked too. I thought they had more episodes, but nope. Next episode is the last one, and they're gonna start filming season 2 already. So exciting.
We have a season 2.
Yeah, they've already. Well, I mean, for the amount of money that Amazon has spent on this, they season 2 was like a guarantee. They're like, we just got to make money off of like the fact that we spent all the money on the sets and CGI. Because cinematography wise, it looks great. But coming down, as always, guys, it helps us so much. I see a few people in the chat with us. Thank you so much for being here, Corey. We'll go through them in a second, but as always, you can follow us on our many social media pages. Corey already had me set up. He's just like, Trey's about to go into something else. He's like, boom, I'm going to get him unlocked. That's why he's here. You can follow us on our other social media pages like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at @_Bat Channel. Just join us over there so we can have discussions, and also you can send us messages about like, hey, what you want us to review next or talk about on our shows. We always appreciate hearing from you guys and hearing your theories, which you can also leave in the comments after the video's ended. But you can also follow us on in the Facebook with @HolyBat Channel, because some jerk took our name beforehand. That punk, I'm gonna find him. No, just force choke the heck out of him. I'm just kidding.
Wow,
but
that got really violent.
That did get really violent. I apologize. I felt a little bit of orange eyes coming on me there. But as always, it helps us so much when you guys smash that like, you share this video, you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Get your friends in the chat. The more people in the chat, the more fun we have in our discussion. So it really does mean a lot to us. And as always, follow all of our cool people in the Delta Squad. Orc and Beans 14 over on Twitch. He also has a YouTube channel, but Twitch is where he's at mostly. And if you don't have a Twitch account, you need to, because soon, when I get an Xbox Series X, coming soon because of Gotham Knights, because I want to play it, I think Orc and Beans and I are going to try to do some streams about that. So we'll be there, buddy. We'll take over Twitch soon enough, as you already taking the lead on it. But yeah, some exciting stuff. And also follow my man Lord Koj. He's starting to do some fire streams over there. I love Koj's Corner. Thanks, loving the Snyder Cut fires, which I know you're kind of revamping it in a way, if I heard correctly. Do you want to save that for the end when we
save it for the end?
Okay, cool.
Some Andor
here. Let's get into Andor, right? Like Andor, guys. Andor episode 5. Once again, I think, Cody, I was watching a little bit of our last stream because I was trying to remember the score I gave episode 4, but you had talked about how episode 4 was really a bridge episode and you were looking forward to this action-packed episode. And what we ended up finding out was episode 5 was a longer bridge. What's your general thoughts about the pacing of this particular episode?
It's like they built the steps to the bridge last episode, and then now we're on the bridge. And as these talks go on, usually our scores change. I'm really hoping you guys can change my score, because this is gonna be a low one for me. There was so much unnecessary stuff that was talked about, and it was slow, and it was, I think maybe I got my hopes up about what this type of episode was going to be, and it didn't live up to it. And I mean, there were some cool moments and some cool Easter eggs and stuff like that, but this episode was not it.
Okay. So it was still a bit too slow. You felt like this was really, because it's a TV show rather than a movie where they're really trying to get along a story arc here, that this was kind of just like a filler episode. Just like, hey, apparently we were scheduled for 12 episodes. Here's an extra episode to get us to where we really want to go.
Yeah, it's like they forgot how many episodes they were supposed to do, and they're like, "Oh crap, we forgot about episode 5. What do we do with that?" You know, and I felt like this was a good character episode. We got some cool stories. We get to learn about some of the people in the group. So I did enjoy that, but I think I feel like I was misled, kind of, with the there's the pup.
Yay.
I felt like I was kind of misled with how I thought this episode was going to be, which I guess is on me. But it was.
You built it up too much in your head.
Yeah, I think I built it up too much in my head and what I thought it was going to be. And when it wasn't there, I was extra disappointed than if I would have came into this thinking it was just going to be a normal episode. But the Butler says that there are some great character scenes in this episode, which I did like.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Koj? What did you think about the overall? You kind of already spoke on that. You didn't mind the slowness, but the pacing of this one, it seems like they're kind of running into a theme here. It seems like first 2 episodes, slow, fast, slow, fast. What's your thoughts on that? Is there clearly there a formula here to you?
I feel there's like a trilogy formula. I feel like every 3rd episode we're going to get something popping. Because if you because there's 12 episodes in this whole series, right?
Yes.
Total. So yeah, so I think we're gonna get like 4 mini movies. That's how I'm looking at it as. And I don't mind slow, because as long as it's doing great like if it's slow and doesn't feel torturous, or well, okay, that could be that can vary from person to person. Yeah. But this slowness is working for me because there's a lot of character build and subtle world building. Usually we get the opposite. Usually we get a lot of world building first and then the characters like last. Like I feel that's one thing I wished Rogue One would have slowed down a little bit more. I would have liked 15-20 minutes of like character breathing room. But sometimes you could do that and do character breathing room with all that. But I think more character breathing room is what this show is focusing on. Kind of like they didn't get a chance to do that in Rogue One, because a lot of the Rogue One people who made Rogue One are making this one too. So if anything, maybe the goal of this show is that Rogue One will eventually be a series finale feel for this whole series when it's done successfully. So I don't mind the slowness. I'm a Lost in Translation guy, like with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. I like that film. Some people, that's a really slow burn, but this Andor is a lot faster than that, and I'm expecting some big pop at like every 3rd episode. But that's just me. But I don't mind it, and I love the maturity of it, because that's something I missed a lot in like Star Wars extended stuff of this Disney world.
Yeah, I was listening to Diego. Is it Diego Luna? Is his name?
Yeah.
Something like that. I was listening to him talk about the show because Jimmy Fallon, when he was on the late night show, or sorry, is he the Tonight Show? I think he's the Tonight Show. My bad. You know, I don't watch TV. Yeah, right. Jimmy Fallon kept trying to push it like, oh, this is for adults only, and Diego kept trying to like reel Jimmy back in and say like, he's like, I don't want to say adult, but it's complex, it's complicated, it's not the black and white innocence that you're used to in Star Wars. You're seeing the gray areas, the grayscale, amongst the characters and the rebellion, the things they had to do. And, to him, it just created a more in-depth story rather than a blanket story about Star Wars, which is an interesting way to look at it. And as I kind of talked to you guys before, that the director, I think it was Toby Haynes, kind of had to reel in the cast as well, because they were so afraid when filming this season that they're like, oh, is this Star Wars enough? Like we need to get back to Star Wars. And the director had to keep telling them like, we aren't Star Wars in a way. Like this is more. This is something else within the Star Wars universe. And I think in a way, some people are either going to get offended by that, or some people are going to be rocking with it because it just adds another layer to Star Wars, kind of like what Werewolf by Night did for the MCU. Like MCU is kind of this family friendly thing, and Werewolf by Night probably shouldn't show it to your kids. It was very, very violent, but it worked. It added a layer, and honestly a new genre of audience, the horror film genre audience, to kind of look at these Marvel films and be like, ooh, like can't wait for Blade, can't wait for maybe another thing, Moon Knight or Man Thing, and whatever else they're gonna do with that whole universe. But very, very exciting. Sorry if you guys can hear my dogs; they're going nuts. We're dog sitting, and they're not getting along. Well, they are getting along, but they're just not fans of each other. Corey, what's your thoughts about having these 2 slow episodes before this was basically the calm before the storm?
Yeah, I also kind of noticed what Koj mentioned that I thought we may pick things up, and when I saw that we had another slow episode, I totally think it's going to be the sets of 3, miniseries within this a whole 12 episode arc. We had the first 2 episodes that were super slow, and then a faster episode 3. Now we have a 4 and 5 that's been on the slower side. I actually liked episode 5 a little bit better than all the other slower episodes that we had. It had a very Red Dawn feel and vibe to me that I kind of appreciated, learning how to march like the Empire and kind of become one of them, So it was more enjoyable for me this go around.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get into this episode here. It seems like everyone is kind of like, we either worked for you or it didn't quite work for you, and you really enjoyed the character development, at least in that aspect of it. But obviously one of the relationships that was really kind of built upon in this episode was the relationship between Clem, Andor, and Skeen. And I loved that opening scene where Skeen is like just going through all of his stuff, just trying to figure out who this guy is. What's exactly your thoughts on that? Exactly. Do you feel like Skeen is there's a topic I want to get to eventually, but it seems once again, because it's this spy kind of show that Koji kind of brought up, there's a lot of mistrust. No one knows who to believe. The tensions are high with everything because the rebellion is small. It's so easily vulnerable to just falling apart at this moment. So everyone's on edge. What did you guys think of this initial interaction between Clem and Skeen?
I might have interpreted the scene differently, but I thought he was cleaning his stuff for him as well. I thought he was cleaning his guns for him.
No,
was he?
No.
Okay. No, he wasn't. No, I thought he was checking out what his stuff was, but also cleaning his guns. Because he's got if you look in the picture you have, he's got the hand towel on.
I think he's cleaning up
I thought he cleaned his guns and then he was cleaning his hands when he starts walking up.
That's what I was thinking too.
I think he was snooping through his shit.
I took it more as a snooping thing too.
I think he's doing both. I thought he was, one, cleaning his stuff because he wants him to have his stuff in proper shape for this big mission, and 2, also seeing what the hell he had. That was my interpretation of it.
Man, if somebody took some of my guns and started cleaning it for me, I'd beat his ass.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would. But
don't touch my firearms.
I'm gonna talk about the scene as if the way that I thought it was. I thought it was his way of figuring out what Clem brought to try to figure out who he was, because it sounds like there hasn't been a lot of communication as to who he is, what he's doing, and everything like that. And so I thought he's like, hey, I'm gonna go look through his shit, but also because I want this mission to go well, I'm gonna clean his stuff to make sure it's all in working order, so it's not an issue where, oh, his gun misfires because it's not clean or whatever. I thought he was kind of accomplishing 2 things at once, figuring out more information, but also preparing Clem's stuff for the mission.
Yeah. And also, one of the great things about this particular scene was we got a lot of backstory on, eventually we get even more, but with Skeen, just kind of like what they did with Suicide Squad's, Jared Leto's Joker, by the tattoos on him tells a lot of story, and in here it tells a lot as well, because one of the tattoos was a prison tattoo, like a barcode basically to be able to scan them, but it was for the crate heads basically, which was like part of the crate dragons that you kind of learn. The crate dragons were what the Tusken Raiders fought in The Mandalorian. So that was kind of like a cool little connection there. It's kind of like an organization again. But what probably the biggest tattoo that was like really intriguing to me was the Hand of the Empire one, or By the Hand, I think is what they called it, which is a direct connection to Grand Admiral Thrawn. It was part of his Imperial branch that he's in charge of. So it was kind of crazy to see that Skeen had something to be a part of that, which questionable in my opinion. Out of curiosity, guys, one thing that was really prominent in these scenes, these character development scenes, was attention to detail. So you can tell Andor when he's talking with I'm totally spacing the one kid's name, the one in the bottom right picture who's holding up the Star Path device and his manifesto, basically.
What is it, Alex?
Is it Neath? Something like that.
Carnus?
But what's that?
Carnus?
Maybe that sounds.
I can't remember his name now.
What do you get for us, bro? Well, anyways, that character, as I'm totally spacing his name as well. You know, they're talking about the ideas of freedom and how the Empire is able to kind of keep people oppressed. And I love that whole dialogue because it was really some great symbolism. But you can see, if you pay attention really closely, that Cassian is paying close attention to what primary hands they are. Like, as you can see, the character he's speaking to is holding up both the Star Path Finder and also his manifesto in both hands, which tells him that. And because the manifesto of freedom, is like something that he values the most. He knows that he's left-handed, but he's ambidextrous. He can do both, but he prefers left hand. And then if you see Skeen drinking the coffee, he's holding the coffee mug with left hand, which is why he says like, "Oh, you're left-handed," when they're kind of designing that whole like how to walk like a soldier. How would you walk in formation? Obviously, you're not going to hold your gun towards your, the guy on your left, so you need to flip it. Or switch spots because you're both different-handed. What did you guys think of that? Were you able to catch some of those details that was kind of used throughout the story?
I really liked the aspect of him like talking about like using the old technology and stuff. Like, this was one of those scenes where I thought a lot of the character was happening. And so I didn't pick up on any of his, cues, because I didn't think about what hand did they hold the cup in and stuff like that. So I thought it was another good character moment for Andor, because like this is showing that like he has a lot of like attention to details and stuff like that. And so stuff that we wouldn't think about or care about, like what hand somebody uses to drink with, he notices, and he used that information when talking about where people should be in the formation and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool to see how like particular he is about stuff and what catches his eye. The normal person might not, but he does.
His name is Nemeki, Oracle said.
I think we lost Trey.
Thank God.
He's really stuck in
he's
he's really thinking about what you said right now,
Yeah.
I know I say some profound stuff.
Maybe the carbonite is kicking in, Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Bounty hunters got him. They're like, we want our hat back.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's funny. Oh gosh. That's
Super Bro, your show now, man.
Yeah, what's up, guys? No, that's. Oh wait.
Hey!
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
I am back. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my camera because clearly, like, my internet is still jacked up from some reason. It was having issues last night when I was trying to do Necron show, but
You don't have anything running in the
man,
background, do you? Sometimes that does it on my end.
I don't think so. Now, just my fancy lights. Yeah, so sorry, I was getting like every other word that Orc and Beans was saying.
Just know it was super profound, and everyone loves it, and everyone thinks I'm right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. Everyone. and did I hear someone say his name is Nemec?
Nemec.
Okay, cool.
I put in the Karis Nemec is his full name.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay, so there we go. Nemec. I see. It's funny that I didn't even recall that because as soon as I saw that name or heard them say it, I was like, Nemec, like Dragon Ball Z. But
Yeah, go watch
man, it was
sometimes. Sometimes they're like this guy. It's like,
right. Yeah. Honestly, I'll probably start doing that because that'll help me more with like remembering names because you guys know I'm terrible at names. But let's talk about. Obviously, the title of this episode was called the Axe Forgets.
The Axe Forgets.
And it was used in a line that I thought was just a very beautiful line from Skeen where he says, "The axe forgets, but the tree doesn't." You know, and it was kind of the idea that this is how rebellions and really just anyone's rebellion, you know, as I think Vale said to Casting, that everyone has their own rebellion in their mind, something that pushes them to do what they do, to put them on their path, which is clearly the story of each character in this. And even for someone like Surreal Karn, who is currently living, moving back in with his mom. And she is, guys, I gotta tell you, she is stocked on blue milk, which I've made some for here today.
Did you really?
I did make me some blue milk. You probably can't tell very well by the camera, but I did find some blue food coloring and some blueberry protein powder and made myself some blue milk.
If you want to talk about that for a second, the blue milk in the cereal, I immediately after I saw that scene, I was like, I have to look. Does Star Wars have they started making like a cereals, breakfast cereal, blue ball, cereal? They haven't yet, but I found they have they already created a recipe called cereal bars. You want to see it real quick, Trey?
Yes. Oh, God.
Right. I was hoping we'd see some cereal because it's Disney after all, like Little Planets. Like
I thought it was like
the amount of like
berries,
right?
Like
this one is Tatooine and it's all peanut butter, and then this other one is like alderan and it's like cocoa mixed with blueberry or something.
Oh my gosh! So I just keep thinking of how funny. Wow, they are not joking.
Wow.
Yeah, cereal bars, a recipe for ex-deputies inspectors on the show. And they went all in. So it's 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1 package of marshmallows, a half teaspoon of vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 6 cups of blue cereal puffs, which I bet you Andor will, Star Wars will eventually do. But yeah, they even created a little TikTok video for it. Here it is.
Oh my God.
Dang. Cereal.
Blue cereal. Butter. Oh my God.
They did use the oops all berries.
Oh yeah.
This is part of the cooking where I'm like, what's going on? Oh, okay. Hey.
It's business. It's business time.
Well, there you go, Andor. Surreal Karn bars. Have yours today.
Yeah. It actually looks pretty damn good. Yeah,
well, man, I agree, Corey. It does actually look pretty good, but I'm just, what is the deal with everyone thinking ever since, A New Hope, everyone's under the impression that Star Wars food is just all blue. We got blue noodles, we got blue milk, blue cereal.
Their milk is blue, right?
Well, the milk is blue. I guess the cereal is blue and purple, but
the milk that Nemec gives him later is orange, isn't it?
Oh, he did say it was a different type of milk, right?
Yeah,
like
it was
wasn't
a different milk, and I'm pretty sure it was orange because I remember thinking, I wonder if this is going to be blue, and it was a different color.
Maybe that was Star Wars horchata.
Horchata, yeah.
Down with
Love me
that.
some horchata, yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. That's too much sugar. There's never too much sugar, Wonder Wife. Sugar. Yes, please. She said she'll find it and make it
You
for
guys
us,
are
Fletcher.
crazy.
I will find that cereal.
She'll
Blue
find
corn
it and make it. Sarah, get it done. Wonder Wife, get it
Before
done. She's
next
actually
episode,
shopping
you
right
have until
now.
Wednesday.
So, or actually, no, she's
You
going to the gym, then shopping.
okay.
Yeah, next Wednesday, and then you have to ship it to Koj. You have to ship it to Orc and Beans and ship it to Corey in Wyoming. So
I will find it.
So guys, obviously, Surreal Karn's going. He's moved back in with mom, and his mom is a hard ass. She wants him to get off his lazy tush and find a job, find a real job. What do you guys think about their relationship, their dynamic together? And she seems like I don't know, the whole uncle situation kind of seems like that is gonna be something that Surreal Karn wasn't quite expecting. Like it's gonna be a bigger deal than he's given it credit, or maybe he's part of the rebellion. I don't know, but what do you think about their whole dynamic with each other in their scenes?
Well, when she was ripping on him, like Rachel wasn't even watching, and she even was like, "Oh my!" Like she was going for the jugular on him. Like but he also made some valid points to her too, where like he's like, "I had an extra room. You could have visited me at any time." And so I think it was just one of those things where she's just kind of a hard ass, and like he clearly does not want to be there. And so I think he's gonna. I think we've been talking about this whole time. We think he's gonna do something drastic to get back, and I think this is even more of an indication of like he's gonna do anything he possibly can to get out of that house, and I don't blame him. And the uncle thing was weird too.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with that. There's something, you know. I wonder if he is like somebody with some power and stuff, because. You know, clearly we find out later in the episode the conversation doesn't go very well. He doesn't have anything for him really. So I'm interested to see who this uncle is, or if he's just a throwaway character.
Yeah. How about you, Koj? What did you think about their whole family dynamic, and do you have a theory about the uncle?
The uncle, I think, is going to be someone crucial to where his decisions are going to take this character. This anytime the character goes home, we see the roots of their like character makeup, and it looks like, judging from this like unhealthy family dynamic they got going on, there's like this issue of approval and acceptance from both of them, and it's very external. So I feel like that's probably why this character is so like on edge with trying to like fit in the mold or something like that. So with everything going on, I feel like what Orc was saying, that he's going to do some drastic possibly to get back where he wants to be, but his reasoning isn't really something from the heart. I feel like it's all external, like their whole thing, like everything's like projected between these people, and there's not really any love. It's just all like you know, status and this and that, and I feel like that's probably why he's the way he is, all edgy and trying to go for these jobs of importance probably, and overexerting himself, and then trying to be a people pleaser or a government pleaser or something like that. So I think when we see the uncle, it's going to be key into seeing where this character is going to go, either good or bad. So I don't know who it's going to be, but I think it's going to be key. Either it's going to be a throwaway character that pushes him in a crazy direction, or it's an intense character that's going to influence a redirection or something like that. So I'm really curious who this uncle is and where this character is going, now that we followed him back home. That's a very personal thing, so this character is very key if we're able to follow his story back home.
We also have to remember this is Disney, so that mom's probably gonna die.
That's how you clear.
That mom is
so?
basically locked up to die.
Oh, wait. How do you say that? I'm curious.
Because it's Disney. They always kill off the parents.
Oh,
I'll never forget Bambi.
That's true.
They already did that with Cassie, and so I think they got
Meadow.
their, you know, and actually that whole tribe of children, they already got all the kids, you know, like they're good. I don't think they need to add more parents to that list.
There's never enough parents to kill in
How about
Disney.
you, Super Broke? What do you think, sir?
You know, I think that there's probably I just feel like they've been showing us a lot of things lately, and while it feels out of place right now, I don't think it is. I think he's going to be something important. I think he's probably going to be what leads him to the Empire, maybe, or maybe what leads him to the Rebel too. You know, maybe the reason why he doesn't have anything for him right now is because he doesn't want his little bitch ass right now. So he's like, you ain't hard enough, kid, to live this rebel life. Or it could be like, you know, I don't want this sissy guy on my Empire team. You know, it's one of those two. He's going to have a bigger role than what we know right now. Similar to like when they showed off the buildings and stuff like that. I think there's more to it than what we see as of right now.
Okay. One thing that I kind of, you know, obviously we're kind of skipping around time, but I'm sticking with the character here. The fact that Surreal Karn keeps obsessing over Cassian, I think just goes to show that, like, in a way, this is the axe, you know, forgets, but the tree doesn't. You know, he feels like Cassian has wounded his life status, and he's coming for him now. And I think that is going to create something very interesting. And maybe that's where the uncle comes in, is that the uncle will have some sort of unknown connection to Cassian, to where he's able to kind of, I don't know, get you know, either find Cassian again or get involved.
Red Hooded Outlaw said the uncle is Luthen.
Maybe, I don't know. That would be a huge shocker, and I don't see that being the case, but that's kind of a funny theory.
I mean, do we know if he's adopted or not, or
maybe, possibly?
One small detail that I liked that they kind of explained in this episode is when he's having that conversation with Skern, and he talks about, like, he basically went to prison for 3 years. That explains how they have that hologram picture of him. Because I was curious as to, like, how does the Empire already have his picture and stuff? And in this episode, in that small little conversation, we figure out, it's because he went to prison for 3 years, I think he said.
I'm glad you brought that up too. We have to give a nod to the Savage Bat, the motherfucking Batman, because bringing up World War II, the tattoo symbols and markings on them to let them know where they were and where they've been as far as prisons go was a very big reference to World War II and what they did to the Jews. So there you go, Savage Bat. I got your back, bud.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, so a lot is going on. I mean, clearly, as they kind of mentioned before, that each person has their rebellion, the thing that's finding and giving them purpose. And clearly, Surreal Karn has kind of found his purpose, which I think is to find Cassian at all costs. And I think that's what's gonna take him over the edge and make him, I still think he's gonna, crack and be just psychotic and just a formidable foe to Cassian evenally. I've heard a few theories of
crazy, buddy. Like, look at
what's that? Oh yeah, right. He does have crazy eyes.
Like,
just a look
at
at obsession.
Staring at a teenager that hard,
Yeah.
Oh come on!
Not to mention, he's got this constant frumpy face on.
Yeah, right?
It's like classic Dick Tracy villains. They always wear their intentions on their face.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're all like, eh. So
yeah,
he just looks like a villain in the making.
You like hate him, right? Like I like from the very beginning, I've hated him. It's he's the bad guy. I want him out.
It's the piercing blue eyes. That's what it is. That's how you know the bad guys. The ones that just stare through your soul.
No.
So as we learn, with the small little rebel team that we have here, they're getting ready for their big mission, and Cassian finds out that basically they're in over their heads here, and he even says to him, it's just like, what were you guys gonna do if I wasn't here? Like, how are you gonna get the ship on the lifter? And they're like, we were just gonna make it work. And you can almost sense like a feeling of panic with him, like of, oh my god, like they clearly haven't thought every single possibility through. And I think that's what makes Cassian so great, is that, I think you said it last episode, Corey, is that he is able to, where he excels is when it's when the plan goes to shit, when he has to think on his feet, and he's having to just come up with it as he goes. And clearly he's like there, and he kind of changes their plan a bit, and you can tell that kind of makes them question him even more when he's kind of like, no, I'm the one that takes the shit, because if you guys screw this up, we're all dead. You know, what was your guys' reaction to that? Do you feel like everyone on that team hasn't told them their specific role in the plan? Like the girls, we don't really know exactly what they're gonna do, so everyone's their plans are secret. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there's some things that they're not telling him. I mean, that's clear because we'll talk about later in the episode of what we think Val and the other female are going to go do, because they clearly have their own mission, and they're not telling him that either. So I think, you know, they're telling him enough that he needs to know to get the mission done, but I think there's a lot of stuff that he doesn't know. And like what Oracle's saying right now, there's still mistrust. So I think the biggest thing is just they're giving him enough info to get the job done, but they're not going to give him any more than that.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Koj? What do you think? What do you think their purpose as well is to maybe not tell everyone the plan? Is that just to be extra cautious in case if there's someone spilling beans, or is it just kind of good for people to just focus on what their role is, and not really know where it fits in everything?
I think it's one, two things, or both. I feel like it's there's a mission on top of a mission, and overall, I feel like, and I think we've already seen or heard in the story that he's noted this is like a suicide mission. And so far, looking at the story of his backstory, I feel like our hero is a survivalist. Like he'll do missions where there's a huge chance of survival, or he has a strategy to survive a mission. I feel maybe this is the first like suicide like mission where there's no chance of survival that he goes on, and that's what's making him nervous. And maybe the guy who recruited him knows that too, and he needs another element so these people can survive. Maybe they are in dire needs. Maybe they are being secretive because there's a lot of personal stuff, because maybe this could be a one and done situation, or whatever, where no one survives but the goal is achieved, which is kind of like a foreshadow of Rogue One, because Rogue One eventually turned into a suicide mission, like the point of no return, passing that line, and you can't come back. So maybe this is first step into such missions and why he's so important. So maybe because everyone has their own like rebellion, their own secret ways of doing things, maybe that's what's going to keep them apart as a team, and why the mission could fail, which is probably why Cassian was probably thrown in to mix up the pot, so it forces everyone to work as a unit so it can be successful and they can survive this and get the mission off. Because so far I feel like the mission is geared off of desperation, because there's a lot of details that they missed that Cassian's pointing out, So I feel like maybe originally this is a crucial mission, but no one's going to survive, but they have to do it anyway because it's so important. So that dire need of desperation is probably taking away their better judgment of strategy, and then having a fresh mind come in can help them with that. So I think it's like a mess that he's actually thrown in to try and fix, whether they all know it or not.
Right there. And
he has to do it secretly. Like the guy who hired him has to do it secretly, because maybe he sees that everyone's got too many personal things going on. That and in past, when people have too many personal things going on, trying to get one job done sometimes is like more holes in the boat than you need. So,
right. They had a very dysfunctional feeling and vibes in the beginning portion of it all. It just seemed like, when they were asking like, how do we, countermeasure the weight and like account for that and that type of stuff. And he's like, you're freaking kidding me, right? Like you guys don't know, like hold up a second, what did I just sign up for?
Right. Like, guys, we're gonna die.
Huge problem.
I am so screwed. Maybe I don't want this money. Maybe I should just bounce with this Kyber crystal and get the hell out of here. And it's just, it seems like a bunch of like misfits trying to put together a plan to attack the Empire, which is dangerous in a lot of ways too. It's like these people don't have like any real tactical training, in my opinion, so far. Like for them to be, how long have they been training now? It's been quite a while, right? Like
I think they said 6 months.
6 months, and they're marching improperly. They're doing all these like rookie mistakes. Like thank God Andor's there, because he's spoiler alert, I feel like all these guys are dead. Andor's going to be the only one that makes it out alive, because of how just like crazy they are. They're like, they have nothing. The planning and the tactics side of thing was kind of driving me nuts, because I was like, man, if you're about to launch a mission, I want to know every step of the plan. Like, okay, so we're going to be marching up to this place. Y'all two girls are going to be doing this on the outside, and if you guys aren't here by this certain time, then we need to move on with our counter plan, which is this, or count measures. I feel like in a base of an attack, they all need to know what each other's role is, and the way that they're hiding people's roles is causing a lot of distrust, like you were saying, Koj, and it's a lot of and Orc, it's a lot of distrust. Like, no wonder why they're all like at each other's throats a little bit right now with, what's going on, because nobody really knows what the hell's going on. And if I was Andor, I would be equally freaking out. Like, wait a second, I'm flying this shit. Y'all can,
and in a way, I feel like this is a great like story narrative in terms of
it is.
This is the beginning of the Rebels, right? And it's always, in a way, I think this is really the first shot being taken at the Empire, the real first move that the Rebels are going to do to try to make a statement, because as we kind of even hear in one of the meetings with that lieutenant officer, I'm totally spacing her name as well, but we'll get to what she kind of talks about, but she kind of says like how her quote is, "It's so random that it can't be random," and I think that's kind of key to like, this is their first motion, which is why Luthen is like, we need this mission to succeed, but yet everyone's not quite 100% committed to the cause yet, because Luthen doesn't want the Rebel Alliance that Vale's in charge of to know he's a part of it, to keep him safe. Everyone is trying to weigh the risk and how far they're willing to go, and no one seems to be completely, except for the one kid, Nemec, who seems to be 100% in, but he seems to be in a way somewhat alone in that, because as I'm kind of skipping around, Cassian says something to the group that I think is monumental, and he kind of calls him out on that very premise, that you're not in this, you're not all in, and you're questioning it, and you're attacking the people within your team because you're afraid to admit it, and I think that in a way that's kind of like really, really cool, and kind of just fascinating that, like, here these guys they're about to do this insane thing, and they're kind of turning on each other because they're not yet committed to the overall rebellion.
And that's why it really reminded me of like Red Dawn, because they're trying to learn how to march like them. They're trying to figure out who really is in charge. There's some leadership issues, and they're all kind of, they all have their own mind right now. They're not fighting for the one team, one organization, one fight. They're all very individuals right now in this team effort. So it's cool to me, and right towards the end, I feel like we see our first step towards a team, but we'll get into that a little bit later as well.
Interesting. Speaking of something that kind of happens, Corey, can you pull up our slide again?
I can't, Trey.
Is it? I forgot, because it was attached to me, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
See, I just left you guys hanging.
I know. I was like, shit.
What are we talking about, guys?
All right.
That's just going to happen in the next episode.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Let me go ahead and get to that. Okay. So we get a little more in story with Mon Mothma, and her daughter is we finally learned that she has a daughter named Lita, and her daughter is very much a teenager. Doesn't want to listen to mom, doesn't like mom, rather hang out with dad. What do you guys think about this entire scene? I mean, her family is just like so dysfunctional, and the fact that she's kept it a secret from them just shows that she can't even trust her husband. Oh gosh, I'm spacing his name. Is it Perrin? I think it's Perrin. Is her husband's name, and he just seems very much enjoying the lifestyle of the Empire, and doesn't care about what's going on in the rest of the galaxy. But she's obviously hiding this fact that she is trying to help the rebels, and the Empire is keeping a close eye on her. So when her family changes the schedules around, or as they say in this show, schedules,
Proper,
right? She's very much under the impression of like, oh my god, like this is going to cause a problem because we're going outside the norm now, and people are going to start questioning me and be all over my moves. What do you guys think about what they're setting up for her?
For me, it was just like, at this point in the episode, I was like, come on, I need a little more pace. Like I was, at this point, I was still hoping for, at least the mission to start or something like that. And so for me, I was like, why are we just talking about how she's a bad mom? Like, why are we, and the dad was kind of sitting on the sidelines, is not really helping the conversation or anything like that. And, I think it is a little bit of her being a teenager, kind of rebelling against her mom, but also I think she's got some of a point, because I think it is kind of alluding to the fact that, like, when you're trying to do a rebellion, your family is going to be on the sideline. Like I think that was kind of the point of the scene, was to just be like, she's having to push her family away in order to do this cause and stuff like that. And so it was part of me was like, I don't really need this scene, but part of me was like, it's kind of an impactful scene about that aspect of, like, she's giving up on her family a little bit in order to do a rebellion, which is probably more important, maybe not. And so, but she can't tell her kid that, she can't look at her kid and be like, oh, I'm trying to overthrow the Empire, that's why I'm being kind of a shitty mom. Like, she can't do that. And so it was a tough scene. And, she even says, that was really hurtful. And then the daughter's like, well, why does it always have to be about you? And so it was, I had mixed feelings about the scene.
Okay. How about you, Koj? What do you think they're setting up for her? Because there's something that, I mean, we obviously kind of know where she ends up when it comes to the rebellion. And what I think is very interesting about this and her cause and how far she's willing to go is, in A New Hope and the other original Star Wars films, you never hear of a husband and a daughter. So I think she's willing to give them up.
I think so too. And if you notice, this is another scene of dysfunctional family communication that's not healthy. And we're seeing that mirrored alongside with the other character who's talking with his mom and the uncle. So knowing where this character goes, that could probably be a foreshadowing of where the other character goes. Like, eventually this character goes to the rebellion, the good. So something happens to and from or with her dysfunctional family situation to get her to the light side. So the other guy, his dysfunctional family situation, will probably do the opposite. So we're going to see both of these key characters of power slowly go in different directions that way from their own family situation. And I think that's just what we're seeing more of, because I can't really see what's going on, because everything seemed too, casual with her and her story. So I think this is another slow build, burn backstory of where she's going to go and what's her reasoning. Same with the other guy. So I can't really read too much into it, other than that's a very unhealthy family situation. And as organ beings, you said, Disney likes to kill off parents. Then I think this is more of them showing more of that unhealthy family situation that sets you apart or something.
Yeah,
So,
and I think
because
they're
it's
trying
happening
to-
along the same time as the other guys, aunt and uncle thing situation going on.
Oh, interesting reflection on the two, and yeah, you might be onto something there. And I think really where they're also going with it is I think they're gonna try to show you that basically a heartbreaking character arc for her of how she's going to be, giving up her family. And honestly, I mean, while for us as the audience, we won't be too mad that she's giving them up. We will understand that she is a mother, and to give up her family is going to be a very, very tough thing for her. But, as she even kind of says in that car ride scene where, he's like, oh, like you're part of another foundation. And he's like, what is it? And she's like, it's a charity. You wouldn't care. I mean, whoa, like way to make us hate this dude even more. Right? And clearly he's like not involved in her life because she has a new car driver and he's like, what's his name? Like, he's just very out of it in her life. And then he's starting to catch on that there may be something else going on, but I don't think he quite thinks it's rebellion. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. How about you, Super Bro Corey? What was your thoughts on Mon Mothma's whole scenes?
Corey muted.
There we go. I'm still not entirely sold that this is a real family, to be honest with you. I know I kind of mentioned it earlier in Andor episodes that we've done, that this relationship just doesn't feel natural to me between them all. They're constantly the husband's constantly doing stuff to piss Mon off. So now that the daughter is in, the dad and the kid, they're killing both of the Buck and Bambi off in this family. But it's just very interesting. It's like, are they, just her, kind of her cover right now type thing, and they're just tired of dealing with each other? It just doesn't feel natural to me. So I'm intrigued in the relationship and everything that's going on there because of the unnaturalness that it's given me. So I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing, guys, as you probably saw, it was this whole Andor show, and really Star Wars in general, has been Indiana Jones Easter eggs, obviously because of the connection of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas to the project Indiana Jones. But we got to see in Luthen's cool little shop, his of antiques, the famous Indiana Jones stones from Temple of Doom. What did the Sankara stones?
Shankara stones. What do they call? I forget.
Yeah, I know you're right. Yeah, Sankara. What did you guys think about it? Did you? I mean, to me, it was like pretty clear, and it was like, oh shit, like there they are. What did you guys think of that little Easter egg?
I think love it's funny, the relationship between the two franchises. I think it's always funny.
Right. It's just great to know that Indiana Jones is somewhere out there, gathering all these things.
Well, what's cool about Indiana Jones franchise and Star Wars franchise is not just the fact that they were cinematically action-packed and available for everybody, because you gotta remember, as weird as it sounds, they were all PG when they came out, right? So they had like this good sense of like gritty World War II like action adventure with like magical elements involved with the Force and whatever these like relics Indiana Jones is getting. So I like seeing that because it's like a nod. It's like, okay, then the action here is going to gun for that type of narrative or adventure. So I just like seeing that connection because those films are great back to back. I don't know, back in the day I would get these magazines, like limited edition Lucasfilms magazine. All it would do is cover Star Wars and Indiana Jones and sometimes Willow on the side if you're lucky. And it was just really awesome seeing all that stuff. And I like that era of action stuff, and those are the type of movies I really like drawn to, and seeing nods to it in this stuff, it just makes me love it more, and it gives me a little boost of confidence of where they're going for. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys pointing out I don't see this stuff at all until I come to the show.
It was like I heard about it in the last episode. Like someone was able to like say like, oh my god, the stones are there, and I looked for it all last episode, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I see this, I see that, I see this. Like, what are you talking about? This episode, I was kind of like searching for it more, and when it was there, like right in the top corner, I was like, oh, they're just clearly trying to be like, it's there, guys. How about you, Corey? As a big Indiana Jones fan, were you ecstatic about this Easter egg?
Man, if I don't see Harrison Ford in this damn show, I'm gonna be pissed, man. All these Indiana Jones.
Should he be Indiana Jones himself, just walking through?
He can't be Indiana Jones himself, but I feel like if he kind of looked like an Indiana Jones character walking on by as just like it doesn't need a knowledge like, oh, that's Han Solo or anything like that, or Indiana Jones, just like him like walking through like as an Easter egg. We better get it in this damn season of Andor. But
the uncle. I'm just kidding. That's that would be cool. But I think that's
yeah. The uncle is Harrison Ford.
Yeah, he just
maybe
like
they just put a beard on him so you can't really tell.
Yeah, he just shows up. He's like, "How you doing?
How you doing, kid? Never tell me the odds."
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be in this anymore.
Oh my god. And obviously, we get a bigger look at the Sith holocrons and as well as the Jedi one, which was pretty cool. Also, what did you guys think with the TIE fighter? What was his purpose of flying so low? Do you think he's just like, I'm the government around here? I'm just showing off
to be a dick.
To be a dick, just Imperial soldiers being dicks.
And also, it might have been one of those things where, like, as he's kind of flying by, he's like, "What the hell was that?" And then he comes by, and then he realizes, "Oh, it's just a bunch of sheep farmer. Let me mess with them real quick."
Imperial
flying over fast over anyone. That's messed up because of all the pressure that has with it.
And it was also Trey, you and I were talking about that guy that we were watching that also talked about the episode, and he brings up the point that like, the sheep don't move at all because sheeps are bad actors and they can't react to something that's not actually there. Do you see all the people act like, oh god, it's simplified, and the sheep are just chilling? Or they're just the bravest sheep ever. Maybe,
maybe they're like, man, we've seen this plenty of times. You guys are chickens.
Or maybe they're like koalas. There's something in the grass that messes with them. Like, whatever.
Whatever.
I'm gonna take a nap for 12 hours.
Just another fighter again. Oh well.
And it seems like one thing that's kind of interesting with this, and something I think they've just kind of tried to keep in our minds with this show is that adding the idea of, or at least the more present idea of sex being in Star Wars, and clearly it is. I mean, you don't get Luke and Leia without Anakin getting on with Padme.
Right?
But
Anakin waking up in the midnight.
Let me show you my lightsaber, my lady. But Cinta, who is one of the members of the Rebel Alliance, it seems that Cassian's really, he's putting the moves on her, and some of the people are kind of like, bro, no. What do you think of that? Just kind of adding, it just seems like, I mean, he does have that charm, I guess, where he kind of has that swag like James Bond, but do you think that was a way just to kind of make him seem like he has more swag, like the James Bond character? Or like, do you think anything's gonna go there with that relationship?
I think wait, do we know who her lover is?
Oh, I think they did say sounded like it was possibly
she has
Vale.
A lover that she's sharing a blanket with someone, but they didn't say who. So I'm wondering if this is his way of finding out who that guy is.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, because they did.
Because he already knows
that. She shares a blanket with someone.
Because after he found that out, then he started, "Hey, what's up, girl?"
Well, someone who seemed very protective over her seemed like it was Vale, the leader of the group. So that's why I was wondering if maybe it's her. But Cassie is just still going for it. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I don't agree, but yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, so beat me to it. Thank you.
Yeah. So one thing that we'll talk about is with as I'm trying to get back. Corey, can you show me the slide again so I know where we are in the story?
Yeah,
okay. So yes, as soon as they showed the Kyber crystal, I was immediately thinking like, oh my goodness, like these guys are clearly, when he pulled it out, I was like, dude, you're like showing too much right now. Like they're gonna know something's up with this thing. And obviously it becomes a big story with Skeen putting the knife to him and basically like wanting to know who this guy is and using the kyber crystal as a way of like bringing up the conversation, you know, putting it all out on the table. What do you think about that whole interaction where, you know, Cassian decides to basically give 98% of the truth?
My whole thing that I took away from that scene is God, I already forgot his name. We've talked about him so many times. Nemec or whatever.
Nemec, yeah.
When he like so sadly just says, "You're just here for the money," I was like, he's so for the cause, and now he's like, he thought he found someone else that was really for it, and then just to find out that Cassian's really only there just for money, like really kind of broke him. And so I felt bad for that. And also, Skeen doesn't know what a kyber crystal's worth. He said 30K. Luthen says don't take less than 50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
He underballs it. He's like 30K for this. What the hell?
But I mean, I get why he did it, and he even says to Cassian like, you would be in the same position if you were me. You know, he's trying to figure out what this guy's about, why he's here. Could have done it a different way. I don't think putting a knife to someone's throat is the best way to get information. But I get it. He's trying to figure out what's going on, who this guy is, and, you know, they got some information about it and stuff like that, but I don't... At this point, they're so, like, close to it that it's like, you just gotta give up on what your beliefs are, I guess, and just get the mission done. But I thought it was interesting.
I agree with you, and I think it's lucky and good that this like unhealthy approach to the situation happened before the mission. Sometimes we've seen in stories this happens during the mission.
Yeah.
And that usually is what causes
it's go time for them.
So I think Cassian realizing that, he said, all right, I'm going to throw something back at you guys just so this doesn't happen on mission. And I think he did it a combination of faith for the mission and strategy to, you know, hopefully get everyone, because he did get a somewhat stubborn apology back. So I feel like this type of situation won't arise in the mission. But as we look at the picture on top right, I feel like that guy is on the verge of being found out with what the other lady is doing back at HR or whatever, and Imperial HR department. They're going to find this guy out. And I think this guy might be the cause of the mission falling apart. So if the team is closely together and they don't have any falling aparts anymore, then they might be able to adapt to whatever mishaps happen, and they could come out successfully, hopefully. So
I also think that engineer officer that's coming is going to throw a loop into it, because not only do they mention that he's coming, but then during, like, before this scene or kind of during it, Nemec is like, hey, there's something coming through. Just kidding. I think it's just passing by. And I'm sure that's probably that officer showing up. So I wonder if that might play a role in if this goes down. Maybe it was something to do with an engineer officer.
If he's the uncle.
Yeah. Everyone's the uncle.
Everyone's the uncle.
Uncle.
Well, we did get to learn more about that officer who's kind of the spy for this Rebel Alliance. Of why he's doing what he's doing is that basically he fell in love with a local woman and they weren't cool with that. And they, you know, obviously they took her planet basically away, and he got, you know, lost out on a promotion. So he clearly has a clear view of why he is not a fan of the Empire and why he's doing what he's doing. Koj, you brought up basically the weird apology that Skeen did with Cassian or Clem. And he kind of pitched it in a weird way where he was not a lot of emotion by it. And I get he was probably trying to stay strong about what happened to his brother. But did any of you guys get a weird feeling about it at all? Like, just maybe he wasn't telling the whole truth about it?
I think Cassian kind of calls him out. Or go ahead, Coach A.
Oh, sorry. I feel he tells the whole truth. I think this guy is like limited in his like world. Like he's aggressive, he's angry, but I don't think he's all that bad. He's just got a lot of issues he's dealing with and doesn't know how to handle it. And that's the best he's got. But I don't think he's as much of a bother as he projects himself to be. because it seems like he's just dealing with his own stuff.
I hear what you're saying, Trey, and it was almost like I don't know if he has anything to be blamed for, but it does seem like he had some ownership in it, right? In his brother's death, like maybe he felt like there's something more that he could do, like a regret or something is what I did kind of take from it all, and whether it was his fault or not necessarily his fault, but maybe he feels like he could have done more is probably something that any brother would probably feel about. But he's an interesting character for sure. I was glad to see that Andor took the first step to like, shit, this stuff is falling apart right now. This team doesn't trust each other. Big part of it is because of the bringing in of Andor himself. While they were dysfunctional as shit, at least they kind of trusted each other. Now the team's falling apart. So I think it was a wise step for Andor to take the action that he did to give him a little bit, give them some more trust.
Well, and I think Cassian even kind of tests to see if the story's true when he says, what kind of farm? Like, if dude just told you the sappy story and your next comment is, well, what kind of farm did he have? Kind of just to see how quick he could come up with the answer. And to be like, trees, it was pepper trees or whatever he says.
Which was interesting based off his earlier quote in that episode when he's just like, the axe forgets, but the tree does not. And maybe it was in a way that made it a genuine answer.
I felt this question was a bonding question, honestly. It's like, oh, really? Hey, what kind of farm, man? I took it as that. As like, because this is their awkward apology without saying an apology. So I thought it was just their macho bravado, stubborn. I'm not going to apologize, but here's an olive branch. Because I've come across those people in my life. I can't apologize, but it was the best olive branch I could get. Here, drop it. It's on the floor. Pick it up.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I think Red Hooded Outlaw said it that it was one of his favorite scenes of this episode, and I would agree. I did particularly like that whole, Cassian laying it all on the line, basically to tell him some of the truth. Obviously, he was told not to say Luthen was the one that hired him for this, but it was very cool to see him just kind of. Basically, it just goes to show that he is very keen to details and that he can see that, like, he's not afraid to admit that, he's freaked out by this mission, but he's going to do it. But he's also noticing that the others are freaking out about it, and it's causing them to turn on each other because there's not 100% confidence in it, as we kind of discussed earlier. Now, Corey, if you can go to the next slide.
Absolutely.
With Deidre, the lieutenant officer of the Empire, she's kind of on the trail trying to figure out what the rebellion's up to next. And one of the cool things I noticed is that she mentioned quite a bit of planets going on with all these random attacks that makes her think something else is going on. Like she brought up Hassian Prime, which was the planet that the First Order blows up in Star Wars Force Awakens. So we did kind of get a bit of a connection to the sequel trilogies, which not quite a fan of. But whatever. But she, more importantly, brought up, she also said Jakku, which was a connection to Force Awakens, but she brought up Kessel, which was in Solo, the Star Wars film that was about Han Solo. So clearly they're aware of Han, or at least what he did in a prior film that leads up to these events of Andor. So I thought that was kind of interesting to kind of connect them. And it almost made me wonder, will Han Solo and Chewie possibly show up in this show just in a brief mention, or I don't know, maybe in their Millennium Falcon or something? Do you guys think there's a chance of seeing maybe even Han or Chewie or even Lan in this?
I think Chewie maybe, but I think Jakku was a nod to like where we're gonna see with Forrest Whitaker's character. Maybe that's why I was taking Jakku as, because they go to Jakku in Rogue One.
Was that Jakku?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I totally spaced that. I didn't think that was. I know there's a big battle that happens after Return of the Jedi.
Oh wait, Jakku is where Rey's on.
Yeah, Jakku is where Rey's from.
What was the plan they were with Forrest Whitaker's? Oh man, forgetting the name.
Oh dear. Off the top of my head,
Sacrilege! For shame. Oh, never mind. I'm all mixed up. I retract everything I said.
no, you're good, bro. You're good.
I think it's very clear that Han will be in the show because he's the uncle.
Ooh, laying it down. I love it, dude. That'd be
No,
cool.
I think that would be cool. I'd probably make a little more sense for it to be Chewie. I guess I think it'd be easier. But I think it would be cool. I mean, I think it would really get people talking about the show more, and maybe get people that haven't really wanted to watch the show or were waiting for it to end. You know, if they start to see some headlines that, you know, Chewie was in the episode, it might bring more people to watch the show when it's done. And it's all about that money.
Trevor H is
IP.
probably the most right here in his next comment.
Why? What did Trevor say? Chewie's the uncle. That would make sense why he wouldn't care for him. He's just like, oh, you little punk. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Well, guys, as we kind of wrap up the end of this episode, clearly the tensions were building for what's about to happen in the next episode. I think, yes, this was a long bridge between episode 4, episode 5, and episode 6 going to be kind of the explosion, kind of what Koj said. It's kind of being done in trilogies. But I do think it's very interesting that even Luthen is kind of having some doubt about this. You know, he was very much in episode 4 that he was telling people, like, be calm, like, just have confidence, tell them this is the answer, and they'll believe you because you're the leader of this group. You want to lead? Here's what we do. This is the plan. Follow the plan. And yet he's having doubt about bringing Cassian into this and thinking that this is going to go all wrong, to the point where he's telling his assistant to pack her bags and be prepared to basically make a quick evac. The fact that he's having doubts, that the team of the rebellion is having doubts, really it's only Cassian that thinks he can get this done in a manner that, you know, will achieve this mission. But this is all kind of leading up to this thing going to a disaster. Don't you guys think that, like, episode 6 is not going to go well for this team?
Yeah, I think so too. And you know, he even says that he thinks he might have been wrong about Cassian. Like, you know, he's got all this like doubt and worry, and I think it's just that like pre-mission nerves. And so I think they all are just freaking out at this point, because they're, like they said, they've been doing this for 6 months now, and now it's go time. Like that's a lot of pressure, and like he said a lot, they have to win. They need to win this. And I think I don't know if we were going to talk about it or not, but you know, the two women, they're off doing their own thing. And you know, I think what they're going to end up doing, and I think probably the main mission is, I think they're blowing up the dam.
They did kind of hint at that
because
with the
at
fire.
one point when, because but also Nemik or whatever says, hey, who packed these charges? And the one female goes and walks over and starts talking to him, and then they leave the night before. My idea is that they're probably gonna, you know, set those charges off and blow some shit up.
Yeah,
I agree. I've been thinking that, you know, for this mission, they have to attain something, but also destroy something. And I think they don't have that power, so it's a double mission. I think they have to use the Empire's own weapons against them to pull it off, because they don't have a lot of ammo. They just have, like, you know, their Boy Scout, Girl Scout equipment with them to go in this mission. So, because we did see a shot panning to some like orange, yellow bomb-like looking things, if that's what I saw correctly, or something. I don't know. There's something important with those crates. So I like your analysis, Orc and Beans. I agree.
Yeah. Good catches all around, man. Oh my goodness. See, this is what happens.
Delta Squad.
This Delta Squad. Now, guys, obviously, episode 6, we're probably gonna see the mission go down. Hopefully they don't like just make it a complete whole episode with.
I hope for Cody's sake it's another slow
Yeah,
episode.
if it's Surreal Karn, the lonely days of Surreal Karn living with his mom,
If
A
we
whole
could
episode of them walking.
Oh my gosh. But let me ask you this. Do you want to rate this episode now, or do you want to talk about something that I keep thinking is going to happen with this show?
No, I want to hear what you're thinking about the show.
Okay, so
Sure.
Corey, go ahead and pull up our next slide, please.
Ooh.
And I put it in our thumbnail as well, but I am so convinced that there is a traitor among this group. That someone is actually maybe not an Imperial spy, but someone who's going to flip because they're in it for themselves. And I would love to hear if you guys think I'm crazy on this. And if you don't think I'm crazy, who do you think it is? And when do you think we'll find out?
I'm not gonna call you crazy, but I don't think there is a traitor amongst them because I feel this is too small a grassroots. If that's a word. I feel like this is new. But I don't know.
I also don't think there's a traitor, but if there was one, the one that would hurt me the most if it was Nemec, that one I'd be like, no, not him. He seems like the most wholesome one out of everybody. He would probably be the one that if it was him, and Red Hood Outlaw just said it too, he would be the one that would hurt me the most.
He has been around the dam the most too.
And
That's
generally, he's probably the
opportunity
one that
to
you
send messages.
Yeah, and honestly, he's kind of like, I always kind of look at Scooby-Doo, because Scooby-Doo always tells you whoever's like trying to help you, whoever seems like the person that's on your side, they're usually the one in the mask, the villain, because they're trying to hide their true intentions. Not you, janitor. Riley.
I have a hot take with this, Trey. You're kind of getting me online with this traitorness, and the person I'm going to say is the gal right in the middle, Belle.
You think the leader of the rebellion in this group is the traitor? Ooh, that would really catch a lot of people off guard.
Right, and
that would make sense. Why
Because she ends up being his daughter.
Right.
Oh, yeah, right. Like, you're my daughter. Why are you doing this? Because your plan is stupid, father.
Well, she seems like she's in control and she's has everything in order. She's allowing for a lot of chaos to come into this group. Her allowing Luthen to talk her into getting in, because we already said Luthen we're questionable about. We're not sure what exactly he sides on. So if we're looking at this group specifically, Vel is going to be the one that's playing on the sides, in my opinion. She's bringing in this chaos, this craziness of it all.
Interesting.
Or I got one now.
Okay.
Or it's the girl Cassian is flirting with. Maybe the reason why he's flirting with her is because he suspects her out of the lot, and he hasn't really said everything unless he's asked. Like, he noticed who's a right shooter or left shooter, ambidextrous and all that. And maybe he's flirting with her because he's onto her.
Interesting. So you think it could be Cinta? Okay.
Yeah, now I do. I didn't think before, but hearing this conversation.
Interesting.
It's turned into a game of Clue.
Right? Yeah. And I think that's like, this show has made me extremely paranoid on who to trust, because everyone is like, doesn't like trust the other person. And these guys have been together for a while. And I get they don't trust Cassian, but the rest of them, it doesn't seem like they're fully, like you said, commitment doesn't seem like they're really all in yet on this mission, on this rebellion idea, except for Nemec, which would tell me, Orc and Beans, you might be right. It could be Nemec, because if there's one person that they think is perfectly like he's for the rebellious cause, it could be him. But here's why I think it's not him, because I think you need the person that is going to reveal who the traitor is. I think is going to be because of Nemec's death. Or possibly the group's death. But
very clue now. Very clue.
It's either, I think someone even said it earlier, Restorative Science guy, you said possibly Luthen's assistant, which I'm hoping it's not, because I think that could potentially be Cassian's sister. But I think in the end, it's actually Skeen. And the reason why I think it's Skeen, is because I think eventually, because of that whole conversation that he had with Cassian, I think they're going to start becoming buddy-buddy. Kind of the people that were the two hardest on each other, didn't trust each other, eventually become the best of friends. And I think that's where it's going to hurt the most, that it is him in the end. But where it gets me that I think it's him is that he kept asking, who sent you? You know, he kept asking Cassian, who sent you? Not trusting that Vale was the one that got him and brought him here to be a part of this group. Because Vale said there is no one else, that he's here for us and we're paying him, basically. And yet he kept asking Cassian, who gave you this? Who sent this? You know, he's trying to figure out who Luthen is to break this whole thing up. And because of that tattoo that he had, the hand of the Empire, which means he's a part of Grand Admiral Thrawn, leads me to believe that he has connections with the Empire that are greater than what we imagine. So that's my take on it. I think there is a traitor among them, because every good spy movie has that twist, that person that you thought was in your corner is all of a sudden not. So I'm curious to see if that eventually happens. Would love to see it. But yeah.
Yeah, you got me intrigued even more now.
You know. And maybe that's where I'm part of getting my enjoyment from the show, is I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out who's the one that's going to betray them. And I'm going to be extremely disappointed if they just all die. They just all die in this next mission and it's no one. No one's the traitor.
A part of me thinks it's no one, mostly because of the attention to their insider being found out. I feel. Because that could be the one that they need just to have it all fall apart. But then again, it could be a big nightmare and they have both horrible situations happen. Because the people in the HR still are just getting on to something fishy is going on. If they had an insider, I feel like they would know sooner. I don't know. This is interesting though.
Intriguing.
It's very interesting that you say Skeen too, because he is kind of the most like not trusting of anything and anybody. Maybe that's because he's the freaking traitor among them. You know, the one who's the most paranoid.
Yeah. But I think that's going to be a character arc in terms of basically Cassian and him have had their blows with each other now. He held them at knife point. And now they're going to be the best of buddies. They're going to be the ones that have each other's back, which is going to be the moment that Cassian is most vulnerable, because he's going to trust this guy because he believes that he told him a truthful story about his brother. You know, that's my theory. I'm going to stick to it. And if I'm wrong, I'll take the L. You know, but okay, let's go ahead and rate this episode. I'm curious to hear. I know Orkin Bean said that this was probably going to be one of his worst ratings for the show. But let's go ahead and hear your take, my man.
It is higher. That always happens with these conversations. You always come up with a lower score. But mine for this episode is a 5.6.
Ooh.
Ooh, go Jay.
I'm giving it a 7.
Okay, 7, Super Bro.
Trying to remember my previous scores. So
6.8.
6.8 was the last one. I'm going to give this one. I'm back in the 7s again. I'm going to give it a 7.1 just because of the Red Dawn vibes I was getting from it all. So yeah, and our conversation about the traitor now starting to blow my mind a little bit, you know, but just all the little things that you guys saw as well. I'm giving it a 7.1. Yeah.
Okay, 7.1. I definitely didn't like this episode as much as episode 3, which I think I gave an 8.6 or 8.8 on. And I think I gave the last episode, I want to say I gave it an 8.2. And I think I probably would have, if I prepared myself that this was going to be a slower episode, I probably would have given it like an 8.2, 8.3. But because it was, I'm like waiting for something to happen. I felt like they could have gone deeper into the mistrust, like really creating some paranoia in the biggest film that is just making me think about that mistrust of who can he believe and who can he not. I'm just kind of thinking of, Knives Out and On the Orient Express. I think is that what that film's called, where you just don't know who's the bad guy, who's the werewolf. I think I may give it a 7-8.
7-8.
Here's my thing, and I think next episode will prove if I'm right or not. If this episode didn't happen, I don't know if we would have missed anything.
True.
Like I said, next episode will let me know if I'm right or not. But I felt like there was nothing super impactful in this episode that like we need to remember.
Okay. And you didn't feel like the character development and learning backstories about every member of this alliance mattered at all?
It wasn't enough for me. Like it
didn't create enough care for you if they die next episode, except for Nemec. Nemec, I think, was the only character where I was like, for some reason, I think I've also seen him before. Shut up. I've seen the actor before and some stuff, and he was in a really messed up episode of I think it was that show Black Mirror, where like every episode was something different. He was in a really messed up one that makes you feel bad, and then you find out he's the bad guy at the end. And so maybe that's what's going to happen here. Maybe he is going to end up being the bad guy here. So yes, if Nemec dies, I will riot. There was some good aspects to this episode for me. It just wasn't enough. Now, Savage Bat, he always has to love these episodes. He gave it a 9.
Did he give it a 9?
He did give it a 9.
And that's when I was like, man, maybe I'm wrong. But then I remembered it's Savage Bat. And I think every episode has been at least a 9 for him.
Yeah,
he's really just digging the serious tone of it.
I feel him on that because the serious tone is something that, guys of our generation really, really, really want in Star Wars. And we're finally getting it. It's like, thank you. So I feel him on that.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, they could film a turd and some dark lighting and he'd give it a 9 if it said Star Wars on it. So.
I'd give it a 10. Panther fodder.
But no, I'm so glad that Savage is really enjoying it, and I overall have really enjoyed the show. I'm really glad that he's having a blast. I'm glad he liked this episode. It wasn't enough for me.
And I hear what you're saying, Orc, and I completely agree what you said, Koj, that us older guys, we want this more adult grittiness. And I think for me, with my score so far, I want more of it. Like when I first saw the trailers of it, I saw like, this is going to be like that Red Dawn. It's going to be that grittiness. It's going to be that guerrilla warfare style things. I'm waiting to get into that. Like I know it's coming, and this was the first episode for me that I was like, this has been my favorite of all the slow episodes so far. And it's if it wasn't for that third episode having such an awesome shootout fight scene and everything like that, this was probably getting close to being one of my more favorite. Saturday morning. I can't talk. I haven't had coffee yet. It's 2 o'clock. You tell me, big fella. It's getting into more of what I was hoping for with Andor. So keep going on with the grittiness, keep giving me that Red Dawn vibes, and I'm gonna be falling even more in love with this. I want to see something like of the early, attacks, shit's blowing up, shit's going wrong. They're trying to figure things out. That's what I'm looking for now in this series. So
I still want my space battles. They promised me space battles.
Well,
I want them.
I think you'll get it because after they steal the credits, obviously the Empire's gonna be pissed and they're gonna be rushing to find out what went down, and I think they're gonna be caught in this crossfire. But man, yeah, I think episode 6, it's gonna blow up. I think we're gonna get something. We'll see. As always, Corey and I usually at the end of the season will kind of adjust our scores if the overall story arc improved some of those episodes now that we know it happens, but or it could make it go down if we feel like it did nothing or add to the story. But very interesting. Corey, what is the chat saying about their ratings?
Yeah, buddy. Oracle Clock Tower started in with a 7.3 from Oracle. Red Hooded Outlaw gave it a 6.8. Trevor H and I with a 7.1. Bat Fanatic gave it a 69. All right.
He's wanting that Cinta thing to happen.
Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse guy says 7.2 out of 10.
Nice.
If Nemec dies, Orc riots, and the Butler with a 6.6.
6.6. All right. Well, interesting, guys. I'm also the uncle. God, cry. I'm the uncle. Oh my god! I just noticed you guys had this all in your names.
You were up there too for a little bit. I changed yours as
You were
well.
maybe the uncle for a while.
I was maybe that. Maybe we're all the uncles, and we just don't know it, guys. You know, it's one of the beautiful things about family.
That time in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. As always, I like to roll out the galaxy carpet for my boys in the Delta Squad, Mr. Orc and
Ooh,
Beans.
so
14.
many episodes.
Right? I know. That's been one of the great things because I think what was Book of Boba? Was that only 8 or 10?
That was like 9 or something.
Something like that. Yeah. And I think Mando has only been like 10. So 12 episodes. I bet it's going to be crazy. And I just learned that I think each 3 episodes have had a director. I think it was like Tony Glenn, if I remember, for the first 3 episodes. For these next 3 episodes, it's been I'm spacing her name, but she directed those. And then episode 7, which tells me episode 7 is going to be insane because the director for that is also directing the last 2 episodes. So he's doing episode 7 and then the last 2, which obviously are probably going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, because in TV traditional standards, this is mid-season.
So I can't
It's mid-season
wait for
finale. So
for episode
Oh,
7.
yeah,
It
you're
must be
right.
going down in that one.
So 6 is going to be off the wall for you,
Um,
Orchid Beats. God, I hope they walk everywhere.
Yeah. Very, very
Next
good.
topic.
Directed by Matt Reeves. The Andor who walks.
Andor
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, let me roll out the galaxy carpet for you. Orc and Beans, what do you got going on, my man?
Yeah, so I'm over on Twitch at OrcanBeans14. All of my stuff is OrcanBeans14. I'll be streaming sometime tonight. I'm not sure exactly what time with the new puppy and
What are
stuff.
we
We're going to go on a
streaming?
walk. So I'm either going to be doing Overwatch 2 if I can get into games, or I'll just play Tarkov.
Oh, or
Love that game.
maybe somebody will show up and cause chaos.
And we gotta do some more Star Wars streams with you guys and some more cowboy streams.
Yeah, you know, I think we're definitely going to be doing a Battlefront stream at the end of the season if you're obviously up for it. Orc
And we'll have to
Beans
figure
over
out what
on
we're
the
gonna do with Gotham Knights.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. I need
It
to get
comes
the
out
Xbox.
in like a couple of days.
Yeah.
Should probably get
Battlefront
the new
2,
Xbox.
right?
Yeah, Battlefront 2, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Battlefront
like
2,
Battlefront 1. That was actually one of the first games I did on my channel.
Oh, really?
Battlefront, yeah. It was
You
cool.
know,
I
Battlefront
like
1
Battlefront.
has more of the historical battles, right? Like, it's been a while since I played that one. Like, you could actually do the Death Star run in Battlefield 1,
I believe
right?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to re-download that one. Maybe that.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe we should play that one too sometime.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's cross. What do they call it? Cross.
I don't know. Maybe the new one, Battlefront 2 is cross-platform, right? I was thinking about getting that.
Hey, if it is, Koj, join us.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, you're a
Go.
PlayStation guy,
He
right?
is, and I need to.
No.
read-
I have PlayStation and Xbox.
Oh, you do,
Yeah, I have the Xbox S and PlayStation 4.
Koj.
Not yet.
my man. That's exciting. Well, Koj, speaking of, sir, you had some really cool stuff going on, my man. Tell us what's happened over on the Koj's Corner.
Hey, over in the Koj verse. Koj's Corner is my podcast where I just do whatever I feel like as conversation or discussion goes. But yeah, I'm going to be doing more of those. I'm going to have I have to hit him up, so it's not for sure. But I'm looking to hopefully get Reasons I'm Broke on it and some other people.
Ooh.
So it's going to be fun. And yeah, I'm just going to do more of my video projects and video game streams. Yeah, I'm editing a Snark of Fighters thing, which with your permission, guys, I'd like to throw in some Bat Channel love of Super Bro Corey and Trey in there. if
Oh,
that's
bro.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
All right, that was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much love, dude.
Yeah, I'm
You
just having
threw
fun
us
there.
on the spot. I had to say, I'm just kidding. No, bro, I
you
absolutely
can say
honored, man.
no.
Anything to be a part and just build the community, man. All for it. Oh, yeah.
That's what I
Ow.
like. That's what I like. Just having fun. But yeah, mostly Instagram and my YouTube channel is where I'm most active. So you can find me there.
Nice. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to ask you this entire time.
So,
I feel like I recognize that game, but I can't remember what game.
oh, that's
that
Dark
is.
Forces.
Dark Forces?
Yeah.
Okay. I kept
It's
like
the reason
looking
I love Rogue One so much because Star Wars is great, but what if we were in the Star Wars universe and we weren't strong with the Force? We would be the Kyle Katarns, we'd be the Han Solos, we'd be the Andors, we'd be the Cassians,
Yeah.
So I like these type of stories. We're in the trenches,
Yeah, no, I agree.
I feel bad that they made Kyle Katarn a Jedi later, but I liked him just being a gunslinger and going through that and dealing with all the weapons. It's cool.
Well, they say, Kyle Katarn was really the inspiration behind Cassian Andor. So, I wouldn't be.
That's why I like
I
it.
think he has the same pistol that he has too, if I recall correctly. So yeah, dude. I mean, that's that's so cool that you have that playing in the background. I was like, I swear to God, I know this. I know what he has on there, but cool. Well, guys, seriously, if you haven't subscribed to my man Lord Koj on his YouTube channel, go follow him on Instagram as well. And also follow my boy Orkin Beans on Twitch. He's taking it over. He's just having a damn good time. And like I said, probably one of the most iconic laughs in the Twitch game. I swear, Cody, you just need to make that into like a little video clip and add some like reverb effect to it and just make that thing just iconic. Whoa. It's the greatest thing in the world. I love it, dude. But guys, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, it's always a pleasure to have you guys on. I know Savage couldn't join us today, but we had our man Koj coming up in clutch, and I can't thank you guys enough. As always, please smash that like, share this video if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comments, do you think there's a traitor among the Rebel Alliance, or what are your predictions in episode 6 as we continue our Delta Squad stream run in Andor? The series is going to be a fire. Guys, thank you so much. I am your host, Trey, with over to my
Orkin
left.
Beans.
And
Koj, God bless.
You gotta say and one more time, Trey.
well, I wasn't going to say and for you because you know your role.
Oh.
Know your role.
Oh,
And
Super Bro Corey.
and don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel. See you later, guys.
See you guys.